Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I was thinking for today's video it would be really fun to film my fall Q&A, so go grab a cup of coffee or hot chocolate, hot tea, something cozy, and let's sit down and catch up. My life has felt so go busy lately, which is a huge blessing. Like, I really am grateful for the life that I get to live, but I feel like it's been a while since I've been able to just sit down and chat with you guys. So let's catch up and let's immediately jump right into this Q&A. Okay, first question, are you or have you ever been interested in learning another language? Yes, so I did study Spanish in middle school and high school. I haven't actually practiced speaking Spanish in a very long time though, so I have lost most of it. I definitely should pick that back up again. The other language that I would be very interested in learning is French, because my boyfriend Eric is completely fluent in French, and I just think the language is so beautiful. I think it would be so cool to be able to speak it, at least to get to a point where I could be somewhat conversational. I really struggle with learning other languages. I feel like there are some people who, I'm not ever saying that it's easy, but they're just more naturally gifted in the way of learning other languages. Whereas for me, like, I really struggle with it. My brain, I don't know, it just doesn't click. My brain just really struggles with the translation and just, I guess, like rewiring myself to think of the same thing, but in two different languages. I actually have a French workbook at home that I really do need to pick up and start going through when I have some free time, and I know that Eric could help me too. How easy was it to transfer to Philadelphia? Any advice for a new hire that will be based in Philadelphia? For me, at the time when I transferred, it was really easy. I was in DFW and then I immediately put my transfer back in for Philadelphia. So when you're putting in a transfer, it really does depend on the time of year, the amount of flight attendants that are needed at each base, and I am very lucky that both times where I was in DFW and I put in transfers to Philadelphia, I got those transfers within 2 to 3 months. A lot of that does have to do with seniority and obviously vacancies that are available at the base. I will say that Philly as a whole is a pretty junior base, like it's more junior than DFW. So I think you have a better chance of getting to Philly as a new hire than some of the other more senior bases like DFW or Phoenix. I wish I had better advice for Philly in terms of being a new hire, because I don't live in the city, so like I can't give you any recommendations on where to live or crash pads or anything like that. But I guess as a whole, as a flight attendant, definitely be prepared to work international flights. It is much easier to get international flying in Philly and New York than it is in a lot of other bases. General advice that I have for new hire flight attendants is definitely make sure that you prioritize sleep, take your vitamins, and also enjoy your days off. It is very easy to feel like you get sucked into this job as a flight attendant. I love it. We all love it, but it's important to separate work and home, because it can be really easy for your job to feel like your entire life, because especially since being a flight attendant is not just a job, it is a huge lifestyle change. It can definitely feel like sometimes there isn't a separation between work and home life, and I think it's really important, no matter what your job is, to have a balance between the two. What is some of your favorite music right now? Let's look at Spotify and see like specifically what I have been listening to lately. So Sleep Token, ever since I discovered this band last year, I think I'm one of their top listeners on Spotify. Absolutely love Sleep Token. I've also been really loving Jessie Murph. She is such a combination of Dolly Parton and Lana Del Rey. She has like that country twang of Dolly Parton with the raunchiness and like the risqueness, I guess you could say, of Lana Del Rey. Oh, and then also Sabrina Carpenter's new album, absolutely love. I started listening to Halsey again. She was one of my favorite artists in high school, and then I don't know why I just kind of stopped listening to her for a while, and then she went on tour, so a lot of her music was starting to come up on my like Instagram reels, TikToks, and stuff like that, and so I started listening to her again. I love her. What do you feed Miss Luna? Specifically, we feed Luna the Maeve beef option. This really does help with her weight and digestion. You can see all of the really healthy ingredients right here. She loves it, devours it every mealtime, and since making the switch, I have definitely noticed her having even more energy than she used to. Her coat is so shiny, and we feel really good feeding her a raw diet with real ingredients. A few reasons why we love Maeve: there are no fillers or additives. alternatives. It is human grade and full of protein, and I love that you can name the ingredients in her food just by looking at them. I am a really big believer that what we eat really does affect our mood, cognition, and energy levels, so the same goes for our dogs. We have also started giving Luna their hip and joint supplement bars. Maeve does offer different supplement bars too for anxiety, skin and coat, as well as weight and digestion. I feel as a dog mama that by feeding Luna Maeve, I am making a really good decision for her that will ultimately be really good for her life longevity and health. I highly recommend Maeve. If you are interested in trying it out for your dog, I do have a QR code on the screen that you can scan. You can use my code JETTINGJulia for 30% off of your first order. Thank you so much to Maeve for sponsoring this portion of today's video. What is my favorite aircraft to work on? Definitely the Boeing 787. If you and Eric decide to have kids one day, what are some parenting decisions you've already discussed as a couple? Okay, this is a really interesting question because I think it's very important before you get married to discuss with your partner if you want to have kids, if you don't want to have kids, and if you do decide to have kids, what type of parenting would you do, like as a couple? Like what are some decisions that you would make before you even have the baby? I am not pregnant. I am not planning on having kids anytime soon, but I feel like there's a lot of minor parenting decisions that I would probably never talk about on YouTube just because not everyone needs to know your business. But some big ones that I definitely would feel comfortable sharing is one, definitely believe in putting our kids in sports. We both grew up as athletes. Eric did football, baseball, and soccer growing up, and I pretty much only did gymnastics, but you know, that's okay. But besides the physical aspect of sports, there are so many important life lessons that you learn. You learn how to work with a group of people. You learn how to work towards something that is greater than just yourself. You learn things like dedication and perseverance. It's a great outlet for making friends. And overall, we are just big believers that putting your kids in sports or at least some form of extracurricular activity outside of school is really important. Another big one is we have agreed that we would never post recognizable photos or videos of our children online. The biggest reason behind that decision is just in this age of technology, especially with AI, it can be really scary. I believe that children deserve privacy. I just feel like my role as a parent one day is to protect my child, not exploit them online. I also feel like for developmental reasons, it is really important for a kid to not have a camera shoved in their face. And it's one thing for me to get recognized out in public because I am making the choice to put myself and my image out there for the world to see, but I don't want that for my kid. Like, I don't want my kid to be out in public and for a complete stranger to recognize them. What it really comes down to is their privacy, their safety, and protecting your kid from potential online predators. And I know some people are like, well, how are you gonna do that as a YouTuber? Well, it's not like I would keep it a secret. Like, if I ever become a mother one day, I definitely would make motherhood a part of my content because it's my life, and I would never like keep it a secret that I have a kid. But I think there's a way to share content about motherhood without showing and exploiting your child. Like, it wouldn't be a secret if I had a kid. You guys would probably see like the back of their head or something, or I don't know, me like pushing a stroller, but you would never see completely recognizable images of them. What are my current reads and TBR for the rest of the year? So right now I am currently reading the Hollow Boys series. I am on book 4. Yes, I'm on book 4 of that series. Highly recommend this series for spooky season. It has been a wild ride. And then let me look at my phone where I have my TBR of everything else that I want to read this year. I definitely want to read Blackthorn. That is a new release from JT Jessinger. I have the Frozen Fate book 1 by Pam Godwin on my shelf. I've had this for a while and I need to just dive into that, but it's like a wintry theme book in Alaska, so I've been really wanting to wait like for winter time to read that book specifically. Hollow comes out on November 18th. It's by the same authors that wrote Zodiac Academy. Absolutely will be reading that. The cover is gorgeous. I cannot wait to dive into that book. And then I do have the physical copy of The Lies of Lena at home. This is a fantasy romance book, so definitely want to read that one as well. And then I don't have it yet, but I do really want to read Alchemized. Do you ever work turn trips? So a turn trip is typically a day trip, and that's where I would go, for example, from Philly to New York, and then New York right back to Philly. You're only gone for the one day. It's similar to like a 9 to 5. Like, you just go to work, you don't have a layover, layover, you turn around and you come back. So I worked a lot more turns when I was DFW based and not commuting. One, because we had more turns in DFW than we do in Philly. Like there were a ton of day trips in DFW, and there definitely are some in Philly, but not quite as many. But I don't really work turns a whole lot here in Philly because I feel like since I'm an hour drive from the airport when I'm going to work, like I want it to be for a 2 or 3 day trip so I can get more hours in per that one drive to the airport. Because if I'm working a turn, I'm driving 1 hour to the airport, working my turn, and then 1 hour home. That's just a really long day for only 5 or 6 hours of actual flying and work. So because my drive to the airport is kind of long, I very much would prefer to do like 2 or 3 day trips as opposed to just a 1 day. Would I ever live in Las Vegas again? I mean, never say never, but my gut is no. I don't think I would ever want to live in Las Vegas again. Although I love my parents and I love going to visit them and I love going to Las Vegas, I just don't see myself ever living there again. It's way too hot. I have just fallen in love with the East Coast. I love being based out of Philly and I just don't see myself moving. What is the scariest and most exhilarating thing you've ever done on a trip before? Okay, absolutely when I went swimming with sharks in Palm Beach, Florida. Okay, this is a fun and random question. Would Luna be scared if a bear came up to her? Honestly, I don't know, because here's the thing about Luna. She is a bit atypical when it comes to golden retrievers. She is so unbelievably protective and loyal to us, which is really sweet, but she is like a guard dog. She's not like one of those goldens that will just go up and love on anyone. No, Luna is a little bit aggressive for a golden. Like I've seen so many videos of these goldens going up to deer and just like coexisting with them and being all sweet with them, and Luna is the complete opposite. If we open the door on our property and if she sees a deer, oh my gosh, she will chase them, bark at them, try and get them away. Like she is a brave dog. And then I always feel so bad, like if I don't see the deer and then I let Luna out because I feel bad for them that Luna is chasing them away. If I see the deer in the yard ahead of time, I won't let Luna out until they're gone. So honestly, I don't know. I think Luna would be scared of the bear because of the size of it, but genuinely I'm not sure. Can you explain more in depth the difference between the types of trips I can hold in Philadelphia versus Dallas? Yeah, so in Dallas at 7-year seniority, I was typically holding 3-day trips, usually 2 to 3 legs each day, except the last day I could usually hold like 1 leg. So it would be like day 1, 3 flights, day 2, 2 flights, day 3, 1 flight. They were usually commutable on one end, but not the other. So it would be an early morning sign-in or a late sign-in on day 1. But then by the 3rd day, it usually was like a midday to a late return. Whereas in Philadelphia, it's just the type of flying that I prefer more. So I'm holding 1-1s or 2-1s. So for example, the trip I'm on right now is a 1-1 Seattle. So yesterday I flew from Philadelphia to Seattle. I have a 24-hour layover and then I only have 1 flight back. So Seattle to Philadelphia. In addition to that, it is much easier at my seniority to trade those types of trips into international, as well as picking up international European trips. And a big part of that too is because Texas is central, you're getting a lot more of those like 2 to 3 flight days with shorter flights. Whereas in Philly, it's more of like 1 to 2 legs per day, but maybe those flights are longer. Like the flight from Philly to Seattle is 5.5 hours long, but you only have the 1 to do, which I very much prefer that, as opposed to doing like 2 to 3 flights a day. That would add up to being the same amount of flying, like say 5.5 or 6 hours, but you're constantly going up, down, up, down, up, down. Whereas I very much prefer 1 boarding, 1 group of passengers, 1 to 2 services, and then you land. Like that is very much just what I prefer. Dunkin' or Starbucks? Absolutely Starbucks. I'm sorry. I have tried Dunkin'. They are too inconsistent for me, and I just haven't found my drink from them that I really liked. Okay, well really I prefer my homemade coffee, but if I'm gonna get coffee while I'm out, then I'm gonna choose Starbucks. Does every airport have reserved flight attendants or just some airports like the big ones? Usually just airports that have a base for that airline have reserved flight attendants there. So no, not every airport, but every hub for that airline usually will have reserved flight attendants there. I would love to know what beauty products you are using. This is the Medicube tube zero foam cleanser. You really only need a tiny amount of this. A little bit goes a long way. And then after that, I use their Zero Pore Pad Mild. These are awesome. Oh my gosh, these have helped clear my skin so much. After that, I use the Collagen Jelly Cream. This is what really makes your skin super glowy. And then in the morning, I always want to use a little bit of an SPF. So I use the Differin moisturizer with SPF 30. And then at night, I use the Differin Night Moisturizer. For my hair, I use these glaze drops maybe twice a week, and I only use a few drops. This is one of those products too where a little bit goes a long way, and this also does have a really strong scent. I don't love how strong the scent is, so if I were to buy these again, I would probably look for one that isn't as strong, but I will say this does make my hair really shiny. And then just looking through my shower, this is what I use. So I use the Kirkland shampoo and conditioner. This is sold at Costco, but you can also buy it on Amazon. This is definitely a dupe for Pureology, and I actually like these better than Pureology. That's Eric's soap. I use this when I'm washing my body because it works as a light exfoliator. Right now I'm using this Dove body wash, and then I also really like this Dove body scrub too. This I also only use about once, maybe twice a week. And then as a deep conditioner for my hair, I use this, I would say once or twice a week, and it's from the brand It's a 10. It's their Miracle Hair Mask. And then ladies, this stuff right here, I get pretty bad razor burn. This is like my holy grail. It's Bikini Zone Anti-Bump Shave Gel. I am not kidding you. This gel works better than anything I have ever used before for like skin irritation that I get from shaving. Could not recommend this product enough. And then the last thing that I have been loving lately is this Sol de Janeiro perfume, specifically in the fragrance Cheriosa 71. I get so many compliments on this scent all the time. It is so good. The scents on here are caramelized vanilla, toasted macadamia, and tonka bean. This personally just smells so cozy. It's perfect for fall. It is like my favorite scent right now. Which Hogwarts house do I belong to? Okay, so I would like to say that I belong to Gryffindor, but I also think I have like a little bit of Slytherin in me. I very much think that Slytherins are very misunderstood. They are not just these evil people. I think that Slytherins actually have a lot of bravery to them, and they have an appreciation for the dark. But when I asked Eric this same question a while ago, he said Hufflepuff, and I did not see myself as a Hufflepuff at all, but maybe I am. He just thinks I'm really cute and sweet though, so maybe that's why he said that. But you know, I need to do that quiz that's online to really see what house I belong in, because it's been a long time since I've done that quiz. What is my favorite fall dessert? Probably apple pie, but also the apple concrete soft serve from Rita's. Oh my gosh, it is delicious. It's like soft serve vanilla ice cream with like this applesauce in it and crushed graham crackers, I'm pretty sure. Oh my gosh, it is to die for. It is so good. Now that you have been back in Pennsylvania for a little bit, do you still feel like it was the right decision to move back? Yes, 100%, without a doubt. Absolutely am so happy that we made the decision to move back. I feel so much more relaxed. I feel so much happier. I love the flying out of Philly. I feel like Luna is thriving. She loves having a yard again. I just feel like in so many ways it was the right decision for us to go back. To be honest, I do think that we needed to live in Denver again, just to know in our hearts like if it was the place for us or not for us. And I have an even greater appreciation of living in Pennsylvania now than I did before. How do I get used to such a crazy sleep schedule, like getting up at 2:30 a.m. for example? I won't lie to you guys, it was really hard when I first became a flight attendant to wake up in the middle of the night, because that is something that I have never really done before. Like throughout my childhood and throughout college, I have always been someone who has just consistently gone to bed at a normal time and woken up at a normal time, so that was a huge adjustment for me. But I guess all I can say is you just get used to it. Like you just have to force yourself to get used to it, because it's now part of your life and it's part of your job. But it doesn't mean that I like it, so I don't like waking up in the middle of the night. Also, now that I have 7 years seniority, I really don't have to wake up that early in the morning anymore for work. Like it's hardly ever that I have 4 or 5 a.m. sign-ins. I specifically bid for trips that have later sign-ins throughout the day. 95% of the time I can hold that. But yeah, in the beginning it was definitely hard. It can also be really difficult, but I feel like as a flight attendant too, you have to force yourself to learn how to sleep sleep whenever you can. Like today, I am working a red eye tonight, and actually when I'm done filming this video, I am going to shower, I'm going to put my little eye mask on, and then close all the blinds, try to make the room as dark as possible, and try to get at least 4 or 5 hours of sleep before I work this red eye tonight. It's just something you have to put effort in and really try to do. What was it like growing up in Las Vegas? Did you gamble a lot? No. So I actually have never gambled ever, and I don't ever plan to. I like having the money that I have. I don't want to potentially gamble all of that away. But growing up in Vegas was very normal. It was just like growing up in any other city. I think a lot of people assume that in Vegas there is nothing but drugs and partying, especially while you're growing up. And well, of course, Vegas does have stuff like that. So does everywhere else too. High schoolers party in other places too. It's not like it's just a Vegas thing. Las Vegas and the surrounding areas has so much beauty to it other than just the Strip. I wonder if you are really happy. Yes, I am honestly very happy. I feel like happiness is something that I have had to work really hard towards, and I know that might sound weird, but I definitely have gone through phases of my life, specifically in high school and early college, where I was not a very happy person. I definitely had a lot of circumstances in my life. I think that contributed to that, but I kind of just woke up one day and I was like, I'm sick of feeling this way. I am sick of not feeling happy. I'm sick of feeling like I have this rainy cloud over my head. I had to work really, really hard to rewire my brain to see the good in everything. And I know it can be really hard to do that. So I really recommend small things. When you wake up in the morning, I'm grateful to open my eyes. When you have a glass of water, I'm grateful that I have drinking water. When you have a hot shower, I'm grateful to have a hot shower. Like when you start seeing the beauty in the sunsets and the sunrises and the laughter of your friends around you and the beauty of being able to eat a home-cooked meal, the beauty of all of life that is around you. And when you just start appreciating the little things, that is where that internal happiness will come from. I also don't think it's normal to be in a state of happiness 24/7. We are humans and we are meant to have a full range of emotions of happiness, sadness, grief, anger, love, passion. Like we are meant to have all of those things, but as a whole, I can say, yeah, that I am a happy person. I'm going to conclude today's video here, but thank you everyone so much for watching. I definitely plan on filming another Q&A before the end of the year, so if you do have any other questions that you want answered either in my next Q&A or a question of the vlog in an upcoming video, please put them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe because I would love to see you again in all of my future videos. I hope that you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.